Time to start some trouble. It's not how much time you have. It's how you use it. Time is not on your side. I like hitting you. Good a time as any to act reckless. We'll do it the hard way.
Hey guys, welcome back. We are playing Ekko today. Super strong champ this season and also really fun to play. We want to be starting with a Q because Ekko's level 1 is pretty weak, so it is a range ability that allows us to farm from a distance, and if you want to push level 1 against melee champs, then you can also do that. Your passive is like Electrocute, a 3-hit passive that deals bonus damage, and then you also get some bonus movement speed. So this is your main damage, what you use to burst people down with. You can go for really short trades, proccing your passive and also proccing Electrocute, and that's pretty much what you keep doing until the target is low HP and then you all in them. So try to hit all of the minions with a Q, because your passive also works on the minions and monsters as well, and champs of course, so you'll be able to push really fast later on. Your E is your mobility spell. Now level 2, what's really important here is that you can hide the animation of your Q, the first part of your Q, with your E. You can do that so it becomes a lot harder for people to dodge your Q, because it is a skill shot, so people will see it coming, but if you combine it with your E, then it becomes a lot harder. So you can use your Q to push like this, and then also mix in your auto attacks. Your W is that zone that will stun people if they are inside the zone, and it will also give you a shield. There's a delay to it, and it's also really slow, so people can see it coming. But if you're out of vision, guys, then they will not be able to see the first animation. You can also hide it with your E, but they can still hear it. But if you're out of vision, then they will not be able to hear the first part of your W. And it's basically what you use in team fights and to catch people with, because it is your only hard CC ability. So you need to play around that W, try to walk out of vision, hide in corners and such, and then try to aim it. When you aim it in the direction that your opponent will be escaping towards, so they end up running into your W. That's a very easy way of hitting it. And you don't always need to hit it for the stun, you can also just use it to zone people off with, so you can push out the waves, or just to get the shield in a fight. So there are different ways you can, make use of it. So this is a really important base, 750, because it allows you to get the Dark Seal and the Doran String. That's gonna help make your early game a lot stronger, so you can go for trades and pretty much just survive the early game. So this is a super important base timer on Ekko. 750 gold, guys, that's when you want to make your first base. If you're a teleport, then you can base early on, but I like to go for ignite so we also have some kill pressure. For example, the Silas matchup is very difficult for Ekko, because he's going to heal a lot and he has super strong traits, but when we have ignite, then of course he's not able to heal as much. This was a animation cancel of the Q, but we did not have enough, or we were not close enough in order for the Q E to hit. If you're in a matchup you don't really want to lane against, you can just do this, just Q spam the way, guys. Make sure that you apply the passive to all of the minions, meaning you get the 3-hit passive off. Then you can just look to roam if you want to, or you can also just recoil. What I like to do is that I show in the wave and then I get some really good vision down if that is needed. You just walk out of range or vision like this, and then you try to get a really good W off. If you get the stun off, then you're gonna get a super easy passive proc and a super easy electrocute proc as well. See, this is why Silas is such a good pick into Ekko. He can make some really good trades off, and then he's just gonna heal back up with his W, and of course he can also take your ultimate. So when you trade with him, you want to go for short trades where you proc the passive, the electrocute, and then you back off. You only go all in when he's low HP and you know that you have enough damage with the ignite. That's when you finish him off. Just try to get some W snipes off like this. People are gonna dodge it a lot in the start, but as you get used to it and you read the movement pattern, then you will become better at placing those Ws, and then you will land a lot more stuns. Got easy passive proc off, so now he's super low HP, right? So this is what you want to do on Ekko. Just slowly will them down. And because he does have my ultimate, then it is a lot riskier. Just constantly look for those Ws. We get one stun off and then we can finish him off. You really want to play around that W. Of course, it also gives you that shield, so you can tank a lot more damage. His ultimate was about to run out. So now he doesn't have our ult anymore, so his safety tool is gone pretty much. And that's what happens when you land a W. Pretty much a free kill most of the time, especially in the later stages. You're just gonna one-shot anyone. Ekko is strong, can be strong in the early game, but he's strongest in the mid game. So we got one tower plate, but we also ended up dying. That's fine though. Gonna get the core components. This Hextech alternator is gonna amplify the burst damage, and then Rocket Belt is the best mythic item on Ekko. The active can be used as an auto attack reset, so we get that auto attack off insanely fast to also proc that passive instantly. So like go in with EQ and then immediately press Rocket Belt active to get that auto attack animation off instantly. You also want to roam a lot on this Shams. It is an assassin pretty much. Very strong roaming potential because of his W, and he can also use that E to hop over walls, so he can access different gang paths. So you don't always have to, you know, walk through places where people have vision. You can unlock different paths where you can gank from and maybe get a couple of free kills. You can just, you know, randomly use your W's like this, and sometimes it does end up hitting people. Just make sure that when you use it, then you're out of vision, so they can't see it coming until it's too late. Also your ultimate, a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but a lot of Ekko mains like to not put points into this ultimate until they really need it, because it shows that ghost behind you, so people know that your ult is up. So by not skilling it, you can skill it only when you have to, so you can kind of bait people out and then maybe get a one cheese kill or something. It doesn't really do anything against good mid laners who knows what your champion can do, but against people without experience against Ekko, then it might work out. Remember, for maximum burst damage, then you really want to make sure that your ultimate ghost is on top of people, so when you press that ult, it's going to deal massive AoE damage to people around it. But most of the time, it really doesn't work that way. You just use it to get out with after you bursted somebody down. Remember that it does heal you based on the damage you have received recently. So it can heal you back up to full HP later on. But this ultimate also makes you super safe, like insanely safe. It's a get out of jail card pretty much. In the mid game, you just jump in 1 versus 5. Find the squishy target, burst them down, and then you press that ultimate to get out again. Getting the rocket belt, the main mythic item, and this is your time to shine pretty much. Now that you have this rocket belt, you have insane amount of burst damage, and of course it also works to help you gap close. so you can potentially get within range of a long range W.
Tomorrow is the last of my worries.
So level 9 is a big power spike for Ekko because your Q starts one-shotting the backline minions, but you can also use minion dematerializer to one-shot the million, but I don't really care about that. I prefer more damage. So we are level 10 right now, but from level 9 that's why you have a power spike, okay? And that's why you can start pushing fast, so you can look for roams if you want to. And you can also hop over this wall, guys. Really important to know. And that's what allowed us to save or survive from this Nocturne gang, because he did not have vision of us, so he was not able to get close with his ult. That's a pretty clean escape. And yeah, you can even hop over walls, thick walls like this. He took down his ultimate, so his gank potential is a lot worse right now. You see, it's really satisfying when you have really good wave clear. That's like one of the most OP things in League, is that when you're able to push this fast, then you can also roam much faster. So you get to have much more impact over the map. And it's definitely a champ you want to roam with a lot. His W is insanely good for roaming, that's why he's also played a lot in the jungle. He's actually played more in the jungle right now, I think. I'm definitely seeing him a lot more in the jungle. But yeah, but I prefer playing him in the mid-lane. I think it's a lot more fun, but it's preference. You can easily play him in the jungle if you want to.
An enemy has been slain.
Time is not on your side. Won this fight already.
So you get massive amounts of magic pen when you get that sock shoe and the rocket belt. If they play against a squishy team, then of course you want that, but if they have a lot of CC, you know, a ton of CC, then you can just go ahead with the Merc Treads.
Satan will fall soon.
And of course I failed that jump over the wall. It can be tricky sometimes because it is a thick wall, so you might end up failing it sometimes, but I think I might have died anyway because he definitely had a ward in the jungle, so he'd just be able to hop over. So we got 1 for 1, that's alright. Bot lane is doing really great this game. That's of course always nice to have a good bot lane. This is the mid game point in the game,
Second first time for everything.
meaning you just want to leave the lane instantly. Just look for roams, you know, and often you just want to be in the side lane if you have teleport up or if your bot lane is willing to rotate, because side lane is where you're really strong, especially if the enemy mid can also come to the side lane. That's when you really start having a lot of kill pressure over them. It's a slippery champ, super mobile, hard to shut down as well, so it's also super hard to escape from him.
Team has destroyed a turret.
And then you just use that ultimate to get out with, and you see how much HP we got back. And that is because it heals you based on the damage you have received recently. You can also just get intentionally bursted down, and then you can heal back up. But be careful of grievous wounds, because that is going to counter you.
Time doesn't heal all wounds.
But just go to the side lane, pick up the waves, and that's how you stay ahead in gold as well, in farm. You almost have 10 CS per minute. And you're only able to keep that 10 CS per minute if you rotate at the right times, pick up the incoming waves. You don't always have to stay mid. You want to be split pushing whenever possible, but it is a bit riskier when you have Ignite, because you'll not be able to help out your team. So if you have teleport, then of course it will be a lot easier. You still need a bit more gold for the next item. This is the point where you have to decide between the Nash's Tooth or the Lich Bane. Nash's Tooth gives you much higher DPS, guys. It's much higher DPS, and Lich Bane is gonna give you much higher one-time burst. I'm gonna get both items, but I'm gonna start with the Nash's Tooth. That gives you higher DPS, as I said, so it can be better in a lot of cases. It also allows you to split push better, so it does give you a lot of the stats that we need on Ekko. You're just going straight to the side lane. You just want to AFK in the side lane until something happens, just farm up and really get yourself ahead. Gold wise, we are super far ahead of everyone else. We have 10 CS per minute almost and 5 kills. And we want to maintain that. The only way we can do that is to find minions only for ourselves, and that is in the bot lane. So you clear out the vision, and then if somebody pops up, then you camp in a corner, try to place a really good W, get the stun off, and that should be a kill. If you hit a MF with a stun, then you can easily finish off with a single combo. As you can see, we did heal for a lot, and we got a lot of stuff out from the enemy team. We got the Misfortune ult, we got this House ult, and we got her flash as well. So even though we didn't get a kill, it was still super worth it, because she does not have flash for the next fight. And it is an AD carry. They definitely need the summoners up because they're so squishy, so if a fight starts, then we can just focus it down, and that is going to be a really easy kill.
I've seen your future, and it's got broken bones. Fool me once, and I'll just rewind.
Nash's Tooth feels insanely good, the amount of damage that you are receiving. Much higher DPS compared to the Lich Bane. But we're gonna get both items just right now. We're starting with the Nash's. It's also what you build on Ekko jungle. And it actually makes him scale much better. Like, he's super strong late game with this build, guys, so I can definitely recommend trying it out. See the amount of damage. It's absolutely insane. Of course we are also fed, but really doesn't matter. If you get to this 3 item stage on Ekko, then you are gonna delete people. The good thing is that right now, because he's played so much in the jungle, when you lock in Ekko mid, people expect it to go into the jungle, so they don't really try to counterpick you a lot of the times. So you can often end up getting some really good matchups as well. Finishing them off with a really good ultimate. It's very hard to line up people for a good ult. Most of the time you just use it to get back to safety and then also get some HP back. Remember, they cannot see a ghost if you are out of vision. If you're hiding in a brush or something, they will not be able to see it. That's a way to hit it. Hit them with the ult.
I hate being responsible.
They got that light shot because we are going for Rabidons. On Ekko, I like to get that before the Sonya's Hourglass. That allows us to keep one-shotting people and not fall behind the damage curve. You can go for Seeker Vanguard if they have a lot of AD, but otherwise I recommend going straight for Rabidons.
Never had luck. Never needed.
Just go to the side lane here. There's a big wave pushing bottom side, so we want to make sure that it is going to crash into the tower. You can see how much burst damage we're dealing right now, guys, and people are not expecting that at all. We get to push down the bottom lane after getting that kill on Nocturne. We also got his ultimate down, so that's huge. In team fight, you just try to snipe the squishy targets, get a really good W off, and then you just finish them. You want to be flanking in team fights, you don't want to go in from the front unless people are overextended. So it's important that you have the red sweepers so you can clear out the vision and then get a really good flank off.
Let me be honest. I have no idea
We got a free tower in the bottom side, so now all the outer towers are gone from the mid and bottom side. We're also getting the dragon, and we almost have enough gold for the Raptor's death cap. When we get that item, that's the big power spike. If you are even and you get this Raptors, then you should be able to carry the game. Just keep it pushing the waves out with your Q. Too easy to push because of your passive. Just take away everything, guys. If there are jungle camps up, then make sure that you deny that as well. Really put the enemy jungler super far behind.
if there are limits. I haven't found them yet.
So I ended up dying right here, and that is because we got chain CC'd with his fear. I wanted to wait until the very last second before using my ult, so I made sure that the ghost was perfectly lined up, but I got feared and then the chain CC'd me, so that's why I ended up dying. So be careful of that and always know what kind of CC they have.
An enemy has been slain.
You know, for example, if you want to dive the backline and then Soraka puts that silence field right below you, and then you might potentially end up getting screwed over. So always keep in mind what kind of CC abilities to have and then plan accordingly. I could also upgrade it to the Magi several times this game, but I expected to die at some point, so I did not want to waste upgrading it and then losing the stacks. So I might as well just go for the core items, and that's also completely fine to do. But if this was super early on in the game, then maybe I would have upgraded to the Magi's. Right now it's a complete waste though, because an item like Graviton's Death Cap or Watch Type is going to do a lot more. We did end up overextending quite a bit, it's like second time. But you have to limit test a bit so you know what your champion is capable of and you know what you can do and what you can't do. We do have Xin Zhao split pushing in the bottom lane and they're going for the Baron right now. Because they see Xin Zhao bot, and that is normal. If the jungler shows himself on the opposite side of the map at this stage of the game, then people will go for the Baron. So Twitch is coming in, and they're not able to do the Baron because Misfortune was bottom side, so they did not have enough damage for it. Now we need to focus, and then the goal is to get a really good team fight where you can hit multiple opponents with a W. If you manage to do that, then that's a guaranteed one fight. Because it is AoE, your W, and your ultimate as well. Just if you take down the AD carry alone, then that is enough. Even the Misfortune has Serpent's Fang, that is to deny the shielding. Pretty good against Terak's Gage, it's also good against Ekko's W. And Shieldbow as well. If you play against Shieldbow users, then Serpent's Fang is really good, guys. There's a really good fight going on for our team here, so that is gonna end up in a free Baron, and then you can use that to end the game with. In the mid game, you always go for some kind of play that can lead you to the next objective. When you get the Baron though, that's when it allows you to really go for those ends. Just gonna straight on one-shot people, guys, when you get the Ravenous Death Cap. That's why I like to go for this over something like a Sonya's Hourglass, because this really amplifies your damage by a ton. If you get this item, you're gonna obliterate people. And if you look at other high elo Ekko mains, then they also do the same. Instead of Sonya's Hourglass, you just go straight for Ravenous Death Cap, because you already have the safety with your ultimate. If you get that extra damage instead, then you just one-shot people, and that is really going to help you out so much more in fights. You can wait in brushes like this, guys, if you're sure that they do not have vision. Especially around objectives, when you know that people will come to face check, then you can camp and then get a really good W off and then finish them off. So we got the Dragon Soul. On Ekko and carries, you preferably want the Infernal Soul because it gives you more damage, but this is also completely fine. You get a free shield. And if you build any defensive items, then that Mountain Drake is going to give you a bit more defensive stats.
My pasts have a way of catching up.
So for us, we are pretty much getting to the late game stage because we are almost full build. Still the same thing, you just look for snipes with the W, try to hit the carries. If you can one-shot anyone, then it doesn't matter who you focus down, just delete people. So you can have the numbers advantage, and then you try to end the game from there. Really have to watch out in these fights. When you don't have your ultimate, even though it has a low cooldown, you still need to wait for it. But our team still ended up winning because we had the Baron buff, so we were way stronger. And this is pretty much what you do on Ekko, guys. Super fun to play and super strong in solo queue as well because of his chaotic playstyle, and he snowballs really hard. So that was the video, I hope this was helpful. As always, see you guys in the next one.